Alright, what's going on everyone on YouTube? NES Roller, welcome to yet another review, and this time we'll be talking about a film that is in a subgenre that I've been watching since I've been, in my teenage years, and it's one that, I really don't talk about very often on the channel, and that's a film from the year 1982 released by Canon Pictures, which, is known for their Death Wish films and things like goofy action films, but that is the film The Last American Virgin. Now, this is a coming-of-age film. Growing up in Chicago, I grew up watching John Hughes films. The Breakfast Club is my favorite film of all time. So I watched, a lot of coming-to-age films growing up simply because of the fact of John Hughes. And, there's some really, really fantastic ones, especially in 1982, which is, in my opinion, is the prime year of the coming-to-age film, because you have Fast Times in Richmond High came out in 1982, and Porky's, which also came out in 82, and you have this film, which also came out in 82 as well. And this movie is really, really interesting, because of the first hour, it has a very comedic, typical coming-to-age tone. But then as we get into the last half hour or so of the film, it totally shifts, and you have a really interesting life lesson that the film is trying to tell you about relationships and things like that. And I can't say it ripped off Fast Times, because it was the same year that Fast Times came out, so I can't really say that it pulled the Fast Times, because they practically came out around the same time. So this film follows Gary, played by Lawrence Monahan, who is more known as playing Ted in Friday the 13th Part 4. If any of you guys are familiar with Friday Part 4, which I assume most of you guys are that are watching this video. So he plays Gary. He's this kind of nerd type nod. He's not really a nerd, but of course he is a virgin, but he's not that big of an outsider, because he has this one friend, Rick, who is played by Steve Ankin, who is known for Troy in the Goonies. So they're friends, and you could tell that because Troy's the popular guy, he's a real ladies' man. You could tell that he knows what he's doing, and he's definitely not like Gary, who's a virgin. Troy has had his fair share of getting laid with the ladies. So between him and his other friend, David, who is a little bit of a bigger, goofy type ball of the group, between them three, you could tell that because of Rick, that Gary isn't really an outsider that much either. But it's because of his, I would say, his awkward social skills with the ladies, that he doesn't have much luck getting laid, and because of the fact that throughout the film, whenever he's about to get laid, something wrong happens, and that's where the comedic factor comes in, especially during the first time that Gary, Rick, and David are, seducing these three girls, and everything's going to plan, and then Gary's parents walk in, and hilarity. It's just absolutely hilarious. That's probably my favorite scene of the film. It's really, really, really funny, and I think the joke works really well. So throughout the film, it's just Gary trying to, lose his virginity and get laid. But of course, there's a love interest played by Diane Franklin, who is she's from Terror Vision and Amityville 2, and a whole bunch of other films. But Rick, of course, seduces Karen, and they start to go out and things like that. And this gets Rick really angry, because you can obviously tell that he really, really loves her, and that he's upset that Rick is seducing her when he knows his true feelings. And that's where the film really shifts tones from a comedy to a more, I don't know how to really describe it. It's definitely a message to people about love and friendship and things like that, and I think the film really nails it the last half hour of the film, after, I would say, the main climax between Gary and Rick. So besides that, it's your typical coming-of-age film with a good message between the last half hour or so of the film, and there's a lot of, it's really, really funny. It had me laughing quite a bit The Blu-ray here from Olive Films is really good. The colors are vibrant, and there's just a little bit of grain. It's nothing really that that noticeable. The sound, the one thing with this film, it has a really fantastic soundtrack. A whole bunch of 80s love ballads, by REO and Journey and all those bands who are known for making their love ballads. And sometimes in the mix, the music is a little bit too loud and you can't really hear the dialogue. And I know that's probably not Olive's fault. It just had to do with the way that the audio and the music was mixed together. So, you really have to pay attention during some of the scenes where music is playing, because it's really hard to hear what's going on at some points. But besides that, it sounds good. There's no special features, unfortunately. I just did a review of Student Bodies. If you want to read this, I did on the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror website. I did a written review on this one, so if you want to hear my thoughts on that, go over there. But very similar release with the picture quality and the sound, and unfortunately no special features, nothing like that, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is, I suppose. At least, you have the film on Blu-ray, and you could tell that Olive at least gave it a little bit of love with the transfer and cleaned it up better than the old MGM DVD of this film. So that should be it. There's really nothing else more to say about this one. It's just pretty straightforward coming-of-age film that's similar to Fast Times, The Richmond High, and Porky's. If you guys like those films, then I would say you like this one. Is it as compelling and good as a film such as Fast Times? No, I don't think it has the same kind of charm, or not as powerful of a message as Fast Times, but I still think the message that it has during the last half hour of the film, I think a lot of teenagers who were watching this film during that time period could probably take a lot away from it, simply because of the fact that of peer pressure and things like that. It has to do with sex and drugs and lots of nudity in this film, but once again, it's typical of coming to age type of film. So really interesting message. So if you guys get a chance, I say give it a watch. Like I said, if you're fans of Fast Times and Porky's, you'll probably like this one. It's not the best coming of age film, but I think it does the job of what it's trying to achieve. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NESRover22. And as always, you can follow me on the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror website. 22 Shots of Moods and Horror.com is 22 Shots of Moods and Horror.com. Reading my reviews over there. I've been writing a few. Last week I did one on Paradise Lost, which is a really brilliant and amazing documentary. And I just did one on Student Bodies. So if you guys want to hear my written reviews, you go over there, read them. If you guys like my video reviews, which, like I've said in the past, unfortunately, aren't as good as my written stuff, but I like to change it up every once in a while and give you guys some visual content as well as the the text content. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll talk to you guys soon. See you guys.